This is Kevin from Good Day, Good Prayers, and we are going to do an update here on Good Day, Good Prayers. We are going to talk about some of the March predictions, and we are going to be talking a little bit about what's going on in the world. This is a very important video, as are all of the videos I do. Every one of my videos have important information in there that you're not going to hear from other sources. Some of it you will eventually hear from other sources, and that's great. Eventually, everybody is going to be talking about the things that we're talking on this channel about today. I need your likes. I need your subscriptions. And I appreciate all those things. I appreciate the fact that you're sharing my videos and that you're making comments. And I hope that you will continue to do all those things. Silver, at 9 a.m. this morning, I noticed it was at 93.72. Silver looks like it is holding right now. We will check and see what the bankers are doing. There are many banks that are in the process of going bankrupt. There are banks that are going to be taken over by the Treasury Department. That is here in the U.S. The same thing is going to happen with the major banks in other parts of the world. So you can expect that if you're with one of the major banks, you may want to step back to where you might be into a local bank rather than one of those larger banks. Now, some of the smaller banks may have a hard time being able to survive, and even some of the state banks, the ones that are not involved in a lot of the profiteering. Now, when I say profiteering, I am talking about laundering of money for sex trafficking, for drug trafficking, and so on. There are banks out there in the United States that are laundering money for the drug cartels, for the sex trafficking cartels, and so on. And those people, I have to say, are going to be arrested. Why? For treason, for sedition, for all of the things that happen to end in issue. And it's unfortunate that those people are like that, but they're like it. And they are globalists, they are deep staters, they are CIA people, and we're going to continue to talk about that. Not everybody who is a CIA member is compromised, even though in the process of being trained, there are a lot of things that do, in fact, ultimately compromise those people. Deep staters, however, and globalists are already compromised because of the fact that they are the ones that are kind of pushing everything along. The CIA has been funded by the United States. All of these groups are throughout the whole world. All of these groups are working with the various governments. One of the reasons why you're going to see things happening in Iran, you're going to see things happening in Ukraine, and you're going to see things happening in South and Central America and in Mexico, is due to the cartels. Now, the cartels and the deep state and the globalists and all these different organizations, in the CIA included, are working with all of these different countries, keeping the wars going. Throughout history, as you see wars, it is because of the deep state, it's because of the CIA, it's because of the globalists and so on. And at different times in history, there were different groups of people. For example, the CIA didn't come out and really start doing a whole lot until the 1940s. And of course, George Herbert Walker Bush was one of the people who was a leader of the CIA. And interestingly enough, the grandmother and the mother of Barack Obama were working for the CIA. And that's probably one of the reasons why Barack Obama was so radicalized and why he became who he did. I mean, he was basically working with terrorist organizations. He was actually setting up terrorist organizations. Some of those terrorist organizations were not organizations until he set them up. So, why are things happening in Iran? Why are things happening in the Ukraine? Why are things happening with the cartels? It is because of the fact that all of these groups, all of these countries that are in question, all of these cartels are out there and they are doing child sex trafficking. They are into the fentanyl trade and a lot of the other things of that nature. And they have to be stopped. Now, I told you that the alliance really got its start when President Kennedy was shot. In 79, people from the Pentagon wound up beginning this new program. Now, in 2017, when President Trump was doing his inaugural address, he said that they are taking the power back away from Washington and giving it back to the people. This is happening worldwide because what has happened is that the alliance was able to get like 130 nations or close to that involved in the alliance. And there have been a lot of people that are working at bringing down all of these cartels, bringing down all of these evil dictators and governments and so on. And so that's what is happening in Iran today. You are actually seeing the government of Iran getting ready to fall. President Trump said to the people in Iran, get ready because we are going to take down the government and it'll be up to you to take back the government. And he said specifically, this will be your only chance. So get ready and do it when the time comes. The people in Iran, as they were seeing what was going on in Iran, were cheering. Now, you're not going to see that on NBC, CBS, ABC, CNN, and some of those others. But I'm going to tell you right here and right now, I heard the people cheering. I heard the people praising President Trump and thanking him because of the fact that he is taking down that oppressive government, that government that was working with the globalists, that government that was working with the CIA and the deep state, that government that was working with people like Barack Obama, George Bush again, Bill Clinton, and many other people. The big mistake that those people made was to assassinate President Kennedy. Because of that, they decided to lose. It was during Project Looking Glass that the globalists realized that they were going to lose this whole thing. And so they decided to do some strongholds that would end everything. In the 1990s, they had set up the plan already that they were going to eliminate the American population. It was the only thing that they could do to actually try to win. They already knew they were going to lose, but they still decided they were going to try. And so try they did. They did all kinds of things in an attempt. Well, as things were going on and we get toward the year 2014 and 15 and 16, they began to realize that all of the things they were saying, even on Deagle and some of these other sites, it was not going to materialize the way that they wanted it to do. So what they decided to do is just to make life hell and as miserable for the people as they could, so that they, in the long run, would wind up going out with a bang. And that's what they're doing. They're going out with a bang. You're seeing it in Iran. You're seeing it in the Ukraine. You're seeing it in South and Central America, in Mexico. These people who are running all of these different governments and cartels and so on, they're all going to be taken down. Most of them, maybe not all of them, but most of them, I believe, are going to be dead. And the reason they're going to be dead is because they're not going to give up until that point. This is Kevin from Good Day, Good Prayers, and I want you to have a good day. Good days are always going to start with good prayers, and if they reach the throne of God, well, you're going to have a good day. Now, here is the reason why you want to pray. You want to pray and ask God to defeat the evil of the globalists, the deep state, and those in the CIA who are evilly compromised. And you folks, with all of that said, have a good day.